Aloha and Happy New Year. Good to see you all in 2021. My name is Timothy Qiu. I'm the Economic Development Specialist at DBET. Thank you so much for attending today's webinar on the topic of building a Hawaii business plan in China. This is our 7th topics of the China Market Webinar Series. If you're looking for more information on the whole series, please go to Invest.Hawaii.Gov and go under the Exporting tab to explore more. You can also find out different topics, webinars that we are going to host within the High Step program at the website. We do have a special topic coming up in February. I know Gordon Zhang, the Executive Director of the Beijing office, will tell us more about it at the end of the webinar. So please stay tuned about these sections. Before we start the webinar today, I would like to go over some items. The webinar will be recorded for future use and playback. All participants are muted upon entry. If you have any questions for the panelists, we do have a Q&A sections at the end. You can push the raise hand button on your screen, and I will give you access to speak and ask questions directly to our panelists during the Q&A sections. Or you can leave your questions anytime in the Q&A box. If you have any questions, just leave the questions in the Q&A box. So now I would like to introduce Jamie Lum, the Manager of Business Development Branch at DBET, to tell us more about the High Step program. Thank you.
Mahalo, Timothy, and aloha, everyone, and hau'oli makahiki ho, or Happy New Year. Good to see all of you, be with all of you again in another of our China Market series. I just wanted to take a few minutes to tell you briefly about our High Step program, which is our Hawaii State Trade Expansion Program. It is funded primarily through a grant that we receive from the Small Business Administration. And the whole goal of the program is to help us to increase the number of Hawaii companies that are exporting and to increase the amount of goods and services that are produced and that come out of Hawaii. So we again do thank all of you for joining us. And so that must mean that you have an interest in exporting your product or your service. And so just to tell you briefly, we have 3 components of the program. Number 1 is our export readiness training, of which this is part of the series. We do work with the Hawaii Pacific Export Council to put these together. They put together a number of programs on various topics, either export related or market related topics. And so, as Timothy already mentioned, if you go to our website, which is Invest.Hawaii.Gov, under the exporting tab, you will be able to find more information about High Step and all of the seminars that are coming up. The second, and part of the export readiness also helps to pair you with our partner organizations to help companies receive some one-on-one consultation with organizations such as HPEC, Hawaii Pacific Export Council, or the Small Business Development Centers, the Women's Business Center, or Innovate Hawaii, to help you specifically on various issues that you might be facing as a company that's looking to export. So that's our export readiness. We also help to support Hawaii pavilions at selected trade shows. We do have a few that are on our calendar, and again, you can look at our website. Of course, these remain to be seen whether or not these will still be held in person during 2021, and we'll see what the events, how the organizers decide to carry out the event, and travel restrictions and so forth. So, and then the final component is our company assistance, where companies can apply for a small grant amount up to $10,000 to help implement portions of your export plan. We are currently taking applications for that. We just opened that up, and we will be taking applications all the way through June 30th, or until we run out of those funds. So again, I encourage you to go to our website, Invest.Hawaii.Gov, to check out more about our High Step program. And if you have any questions, please contact me. Thank you all again for joining us. And now I'd like to turn over the program to the director of our Beijing office, Gordon Zhang. Gordon.
Thank you, Jamie. Aloha, everybody. Nice to see you again. And today our topic is building a Hawaii business brand in China. We are going to talk about, the businesses or products that are already in China, or we will have our guest speakers today who will talk about, what other products and services that might make a hit in China. And our guests are all doing business, either import or export, or they are doing services or doing cultural exchange. So that's something different today. And I'm the chief executive of the DBAT Beijing office. This is a subsidiary of DBAT, and it's based in Beijing, and we are here to help Hawaii businesses to either get into contacts with China or to help them with marketing or finding partners, etc. And so let's get into our meeting today. And first, I'd like to introduce our first few speakers. Ms. Lindsay Malika. Well, those who attended our first webinar must can recall that she was one of the speakers for the very first time. And this time she's going to do something different. She has 2 or 3 friends that she brought with her, and she's going to do a Q&A session. And from her perspective, as a trade officer, agricultural trade office in Guangzhou Consulate General, and to the other speakers who have been doing business, who have been introducing foreign brands or services into China. And as you know, that Lindsay is Deputy Director of Agricultural Trade Office, which is a subsidiary of USDA, but she's based in the Consulate General at Guangzhou. She has been with USDA for over 10 years. And I'll give her the microphone so she can introduce the other friends that she brought with her, Roger Zhang and Kevin Ye. Now I will turn over to Ms. Lindsay Malika. Lindsay, please. Lindsay, can you hear me?
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. You can hear me now?
Yes, but we have broken voices. Well, that's going to be...
I can't hear you great. I think our connection is bad this morning.
We can hear you, though it's not very clear, but we can hear. Well, actually, Lindsay is in the Consulate General. Probably the line connection is not so good. Can you speak continuously? So let's hear.
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much, Gordon and Timothy and others at DBET for inviting us to participate in the seminar this morning. It's nice to see participants from Hawaii, and it's nice to be back with you all today.
We lost her.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to use Zoom on my phone.
Do we have other alternatives? Whether Tim, whether we can I don't know whether she can log on from cell phone or it's difficult in the consulate.
I can log on from my cell phone, yeah.
Okay, great. Lindsay, could you log into the cell phone? Maybe it would be better connections.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you. So in the meantime, could you, like Kelvin and Roger, could you mind to introduce yourself? Maybe Kelvin?
Please, yeah.
So,
turn on
well,
your, yeah.
what? Sorry, so I think, oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for Hotstep and USDA inviting me to introduce some cross-border knowledges to Hawaii entrepreneurs. And I'm Kevin, and I am a BD manager from Top Ideal. And Top Ideal is a cross-border e-commerce and logistic service provider from China. And for me, I have 10 years experience for new product incubation and e-commerce. I hope to get you some inspiring today. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, you are going to talk more about how you help clients to get on the e-commerce, right?
Maybe we can maybe later.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next, can we invite Roger? Please turn on your microphone.
Hey, good morning. So Roger is in the middle of some business right now. So I am Roger's colleague. My name is Ian Chin. Okay. We're from SMH International. So for today's webinar, I think I'll be doing most of the speaking today. So, so first of all, thank you so much for all of the organizers today. Like I said, my name is Ian Chen. I'm the Deputy Marketing Director at SMH International. SMH International is a marketing firm in China representing over a dozen US agricultural associations for over 2 decades. So we've worked closely with the ATO to promote US, especially in agricultural and food products in China.
Okay, I see Lindsay is ready. Yes, I see she raised hand. Well, Tim, can you turn on her voice? Yeah.
Good. All right.
Yes. Good.
Super. Well, thank you for working through some tech challenges with us this morning.
Right.
I apologize for that. Thank you, Ian. And oh, we need to turn this camera off. Can you unplug the camera, please? Just unplug it from the computer. So thanks for bearing with us this morning. We're just trying to make the technology here work. But I'm very pleased to be joined by Ian and Kevin. I know the topic for today is building a Hawaii business brand in China. And we here at the ATO work very specifically on US agricultural products in China and work with great partners like Kevin and Ian to help introduce US agricultural products to China. I know the first time I was on the webinar, we talked a bit about the market potential for coffee, honey, macadamia nuts, and other products to China. So Ian represents a lot of US agricultural commodities here in China, everything from seafood to nuts and many others, and has a depth of experience in that. I'm also really pleased to be joined by Kevin, who you heard introduce himself but represents a company that we've worked with and really provides full service e-commerce advice and solutions here in China. So I've prepared a few questions for each of them to answer to hopefully give you a bit more information about both creating a brand here in China and also entering the China market. So I'll preface this also by saying we're happy to answer questions either during the chat or in follow-up. We do have a commitment immediately following this at 10:30, so I apologize we won't be available for live questions, but I'll ask that Gordon distributes our email and can certainly tell you all how to get in touch with us. We're more than happy to help. So with that, I think I'd like to start off with just a few questions. And maybe Kevin, since I see you on the screen, can you tell us a bit more about what high-end customers look at when considering retail products in online platforms?
Okay, thanks, Lindsay. I prepared for these questions for some time. And in fact, when we're talking about high-end consumers in China, their profile will be more like they are not so sensitive with product price, but they get higher standard of the quality than any other products. And they really care about convenience because when the high-end consumers usually work overtime in China and they have really heavy workload. And so they didn't have much time for life. So they didn't have much time to picking some products in the stores. So which convenient become a critical elements for them. And they could easily convinced by the key opinion leader, what we are talking about, some stars and user comments rather than, and they consider user comment as much higher than advertising in the video side or some introductions by the salesmen offline. Okay, that's all.
Thanks, Kevin. Ian, can you share with us a bit more about, particularly on the agriculture?
Lindsay, before Ian talking about the market, can I talk a few sentences, few words?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure, okay. And again, and I'm glad to be here. And I introduce myself. My name is Roger Zhang, and I'm the colleague and with Ian from the SMH. And I'm so honored, here to talking about the China market. And actually, and for SMH, we are the USATA representative, and the Western United States Trade Association. And the state of Hawaii is the one of the state members. So actually, for Ian and for myself, we actually, we bring the Chinese buyers to your state and a few years ago and visit some meeting with some of the coffee companies, honey companies, and the nuts companies. And although we know some of the meat as well. So I think today's, it's good opportunity. We can share the China marketing information, especially, after COVID-19, and something that changed already. So, and I think the Kevin or my colleague Ian will share more information. So if you have any questions, just feel free to let us know. And thanks again. And Ian, please.
Thank you, Roger. So about Lindsay's question, I think I would probably echo off Kevin's answer a little bit too. So when high-end consumers in China make a decision about food purchasing, especially we're talking about food right here. So there are a few factors that are influential. So one of them would be the country of origin or the food security of the country of origin. So high-income households, they pay more attention to sourcing from the sourcing country, and they believe that food from the more developed countries like the US or Europe or Australia or New Zealand to be safer. So that is something that would make them lean towards those products. And then there's quality, especially with dairy products or infant products. These are things that consumers are especially sensitive, and high-end consumers are willing to pay extra money to buy these imported products. And then you have health and well-being as part of the factors as well. So just to give you an example, like olive oil or quinoa, for instance, they are regarded as very healthy products here in China, and they're very popular with high-income consumers, especially the female demographics. And then you have branding or reputation. For an example, Zespri, the brand from New Zealand, they have a very strong brand recognition here in China, especially in the kiwi fruit market. And a lot of money's been invested into marketing by the brand. So nowadays, when people talk about kiwi fruit, Zespri is the first name that comes out. So building a brand recognition is an important factor when it comes to the purchasing decision from the high-end consumers. And then you have packaging. High-end consumers, they have high expectations on food packaging, especially for premium products. So a unique packaging can differentiate your product from the others and make it more attractive to them. And then the last thing would be taste. So the other factors are important the other factors that I mentioned were important, but since we're talking about food and drink here, taste is probably still the most important factor. So consumers can lose interest in a new product or a trending product if the taste of the product doesn't match the hype of the product or the packaging of the product. So these would be what we think are some of the things that high-end consumers look for when they're considering retail products in the market. So, Lindsay?
Yeah, thanks, Ian. I think those are both really important points, talking about the health and quality of the food, as well as the convenience of just products in general. And I know that's something that we continue to see here. And I think those lead into really my second question, which is how consumers get more information about products. We've heard, and certainly before I moved to China, I heard that Chinese consumers do more research on products before they buy than just about any other consumer in the world. So where do consumers go to get information about new products, and what information is really important to them as they evaluate and make their decisions? Ian, can I turn to you first?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So, well, today the way consumers get their information, just like the rest of the world, has really transformed from the traditional format like TV, newspaper, or magazines, and shifting towards digital media like websites and social media. And in China, there are several platforms that consumers usually check, especially for the younger consumers. So one of them would be the company's website. So there's more trust that consumers would place in a company if the company has a website, an official website, and not a business portal, or a small company info page. So that helps. And a well-developed website will really help leave a positive impression on consumers. And aside from websites, you have social media. The younger generation prefer to use social media. So in China, we have the main platform would be WeChat and Weibo. They use these platforms to get information and impression for a product. So either directly from their social circle or from one of a company's official account that they open on one of these platforms. And then you have mobile web apps. So there's an app called Zhihu, it's a Chinese Quora. That is something that there's a lot of information on it that is trusted by consumers here, and they use that to get accurate information and impression for any products. And then you also have other apps like Toutiao, which is an app that offers customized news articles. These kind of apps also have an important role. Consumers love to hear the opinion of their peers, including their experiences with new products. So that is one of the newer ways that consumers are getting their information. And then a lot of Chinese consumers also go directly to the e-commerce platforms for reviews. They search directly on these e-commerce platforms for product information and reviews. And the reviews in the comment section often have a strong impact on the decision makers. And then finally, you have things like TV, subway ads, or in-store promotions that are still useful for some of the older generation consumers or the less connected consumers for them to get information. And consumers really tend to look at many different things when researching new products, but authenticity and trustfulness are still key to their final decision. There are so many new products popping up every day that consumers really need to be able to trust that the product is from a source that is real and safe before buying and consuming. So that is our insight into this.
Thanks, Ian. You touched on a lot of things, both online and offline. And I know, Kevin, you come from a perspective that is really pushing product to consumers through online channels. Can you tell us a bit more about how consumers do research and find more out about the products you have online and what's important to them?
Okay, thanks, Lindsay and Ian. And this is true. I would do the same research on the channel and platform just Ian mentioned before I'm choosing a new product, because there are so many new products in China. They put out every day like thousands, and just yes, you will be distracted by many. You will be distracted by many informations. And in my opinion, Chinese consumer will seek information mainly from key opinion leader (KOL) we are talking about, and we have a lot of key opinion leader on the internet in every aspect. And sometimes we will invite them, or just like a sponsor, we send them some product samples. Then they will make some unboxing or product testing videos on video platforms like we got Bilibili in here, just like a video site like YouTube or TikTok. TikTok, as I think most of them you know. And also some consumer usually will read their, like I say, you read the user comments from the Taobao or Jingdong, just like Amazon. And people will write down their comments for the products. And when a consumer will looking for it and see that there are positive or negative comments there, besides, there are some forums to discussion groups from WeChat and Weibo, and we could also be a source of information. After collecting all the information, the rest is just a basic math problem, whether the product is recommended or not recommended by most of the people. Then you have the decision to, you can make the decision to buy it or not.
Yeah, those are really good insights. And I know we use the term KOL here a lot. The term I've heard very commonly in the United States is influencers. And so it's really the same thing where people will go and look to a specific person or platform to teach them about a new product. And so, you know, having that reference or that connection to someone, as you mentioned, we've seen is really important. So thank you. So I'll turn maybe next to Ian to start off on this one. We've heard that some companies have changed recipes, package design, package size, or the form of their product to sell in China. And a lot of the businesses here are looking at China as a new potential market. What advice do you have for companies who are considering changes? Are there companies or services that they can use to advise based on consumer trends or preferences? And how do you find them and how do you evaluate them?
Yes, that's a great question. So first of all, about labeling, the Chinese authorities have a specific guidelines about labeling for imported foods. So depending on your product, the packaging may have to be changed to suit the regulation for the Chinese market. And about recipes, that's a very interesting question because there are really two opinions to this question, and it's kind of polarizing. So one is to keep your recipe or your formula or your flavor no matter what. And the other is to specifically adjust or develop your recipes in order to cater to the Chinese consumer's preference. So from our perspective, it really depends on your product and how you enter the market. So for example, food ingredients, the formula is usually unchanged from the original recipe. So whatever you developed in the States, you would just directly bring it over to the Chinese market. And there are companies that have been successful doing this. So I'm going to bring up an example, such, for example, Bob's Red Mill from the States. They've done quite well in China and especially on e-commerce. And their catalog, their product lineup is virtually unchanged from what they're offering in the States. So that is something that we noticed. But on the other hand, if we're talking about packaged food or snacks, such as tree nuts or juice, they tend to do better with customized flavors that match local taste. So, for example, hot and spicy flavors do really well in China. Juice or beverage that uses things like jujube, that is popular as well. So that is something that we notice with developing recipes. And for packaging, Chinese consumers generally have a different aesthetics comparing to the Western consumers. So for example, cute and cartoony designs are popular here, but that's not usually the case in the States. It's more mature, it's more matter of fact. And also, for instance, paper packaging is now widely used because of its eco-friendliness. However, plastic packaging is still preferred in China, even though people are being more environmentally conscious. And in comparison to the things that I just mentioned, I think package size seems to be the big divider between the two markets, so China and the Western markets, especially the States. So in the States, as we know, a lot of our groceries are in family sized, since we do weekly trips to the store, and we drive our cars, we drive our SUVs to Costco and get our weekly groceries. But over here in China, fresh ingredients are purchased daily, and the stores here, the markets here close late, and it's easier to handle small bags to go on your public transportation. That's just the way it still works over here. And especially now with e-commerce, you can just get on your cell phone, buy your groceries twice a day and have it delivered to your door. So that is something that exporters should consider, when they're selling to China. And touching on companies or service to advice, so one of the best way to work about the companies or service based on it. So working with your potential business partners, either from activities such as trade missions, trade shows, or other marketing events in China, that is the cheapest way or the easiest way to understand new market trends for the Chinese market. But working this way has many limitations, since a lot of their insight and scope is more narrowed. And the other way to gain insight is by working with a marketing firm or a consultant. You can look online for a marketing firm in China or a consulting firm in China that can communicate with you in English. You can either pay for an existing research report or a customized one. These reports can be expensive, but you tend to get a bigger picture of the market, and they're more supported by actual data. So that is my answer to Lindsay's question. It's a lot of stuff.
Thanks, Ian. You touched on a couple of things, particularly packaging and package size and the use of e-commerce in new products and as things people should consider. Kevin, I know you all also help advise companies on bringing their product into China. Are there any things that you can add in terms of what companies look for on or how to change their product, or where companies can get more information on updating their product to something that sells well in China?
Okay, thanks. I think just like Ian said, recipes is just I don't know how to say it's a thing that it is hard to decide that whether change your recipes or not, because but to be honest, some taste is not so flavor in China. But I think, in my opinion, some authentic or traditional products, just like some we have. Is that a Rocky Mountain marshmallows? I don't really remember the product name. The marshmallows from the USA and the Bees candy. They are all authentic products in US. Although their taste is not accepted by everyone here, but people would like to have a taste for them because they are the package is very traditional, and they all knows that it is a traditional US products in here. So rather to change recipes, I think that depends. It depends, and for and we just talk about what our high-end consumer is looking for, and they need convenience. So bulk size is probably not matched for the convenience. So bulk size is not fit here. And when product is interesting enough, we have iterations on packaging design or some labels, they could easily caught their attentions. It is more important if go through online, because they can touch the products like in the store. They just could see the pictures of the products you take or the videos. If you have a nice package, it would easily caught their attentions. So in my opinion, these are the factors to consider when developing products for China. And for the questions about what companies is providing consumer trend study, I would like to recommend to acquire from some top global market research companies like Mintel, Ipsos, GfK, Nelson's. They all have China branch, so they got a branch of people here, so they could do the China research very, very well. We're always looking for them help. So sometimes they will share some consumer trends and reports for free. So you can also they can tailor make some reports if you could offer some money.
That's great. And I will make a quick plug also on the agricultural front for the Global Ag Information Network, or GAIN reports that our office writes, that talk a bit about commodities and other products in China. But I know these companies do offer really good analysis of different consumer trends and things like that. So thank you both for mentioning them.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about Hawaiian businesses, and Hawaii has a very strong, I would say, brand image of itself as a natural state, and with a lot of beautiful nature and beaches and the aloha spirit. I've often heard Hainan, which I've been to down here in South China, compared as the Chinese Hawaii. And I think that image resonates a lot with businesses or with consumers. And a lot of the businesses here do have strong, well, all have strong ties to Hawaii. And I'm wondering if you can talk either about the agricultural products of Hawaii and their general popularity or use here, how those trends are moving or growing, but also I know there are other Hawaiian businesses on the line representing gifts or apparel. So how can Hawaii images, whether food or other, really harness the brand image of Hawaii to help market their products and differentiate themselves from the competition?
To be honest, I already okay. To be honest, the macadamia nuts is the only product I'm familiar with, and it grows rapidly in China. And about the others, like Hawaii honey, or nuts of coffee, or papaya, these brands are not. There's no any brands are selling the others these things in China, so I don't know. I'm not familiar with them, but. Speak to the way to create differentiate on products. In my opinion, Ian have mentioned New Zealand. I think New Zealand is a very good learning object for us. Just like we can, he talks about the zestberry, the kiwi fruit, and I'm talking about the Manuka honey here. And Manuka, it's in my opinion, they just create a concept, a region concept, like the red wines in France, they create a region concept here for Manuka, and this place is producing honey, is very good. And then they make a certificate to prove the genuine of the origin. They just like the AOC in the France red wine, and they're also looking looking for some labs to help to making a lab test for their products so that to prove they really help for like constipation and some gastro-related diseases. And meanwhile, the New Zealand government is also helping them to endorse their honey in many exhibitions. So I think this just like this. I think this model is very good, and we can maybe get a little inspiration for you. We could also use this model to create a concept for Hawaii nuts or coffee or papaya, and then make a certificate on it, and make some lab tests on it, and these are all endorsement for them, and that will help to promote this product in whenever China or Europe. Okay.
Thanks. Ian, can I turn to you?
Yeah, sure. I think what Kevin mentioned is really the viewpoint from the majority of Chinese consumers, that Hawaii is really well known as a tourist destination in China, but consumers still have a very limited knowledge about its products. But the products that we're mentioning, potential. So like Kevin mentioned, for honey, Manuka honey from New Zealand, they have a large market share in the imported honey market. And the way Manuka honey is differentiating itself from the other honey is by promoting the way that it is sourced. So the fact that it's sourced from the Manuka plant, I think that's what the plant is, as well as its health benefits. And the products on the market make it so by offering different UMF ratings. So a lot of people would buy different rating UMF rating Manuka honey for different purposes. So the lower number, they would buy it for daily use to put it in their tea or just in their water during the morning for wellness. And then they would also get the higher rated UMF Manuka honey for I guess for a curing purpose. A lot of them would get it when they start feeling sick, or if they start feeling under the weather, they would just grab a spoon and just eat it, and they would think, okay, that's going to help me feel better. But for the regular honey, market, it's a lot more competitive, and there's really little education done to consumers to differentiate one product from another. So all we know is that the other honey, they're from bees. they're from honeybees, and we don't really know why each one is different and why one country's honey is better than the other. What kind of honey we can get for what purposes. These are some of the things that needs a lot of consumer education. And so for now, price is the main purchasing factor for the rest of the honey market, I think. And then for macadamia nuts, this is an interesting thing because even though it's called the Hawaiian nuts in China, in Chinese, consumers were educated from an early point that macadamia nuts are from Australia. And Australia, with an advantage in terms of tariffs, the majority of products here on the market today are from Australia, not from Hawaii. However, the US does have a very strong reputation for tree nuts and the quality of the tree nuts. And with tension growing between China and Australia, I think there's good potential for Hawaii to meet the demand for macadamia nuts in China. So one of the things that is popular here is chocolate covered macadamia nuts, which is a great choice for holiday gifting. So Hawaiian brands, Hawaiian products can offer, I think they can offer special editions with custom packaging for Chinese holidays, such as Chinese New Year, as a way to differentiate itself from the Australian products or the other countries' macadamia nut products. And as Roger mentioned earlier, when we went to Hawaii about 2 years ago, we went to a few coffee plants. So coffee is definitely one of the things that has a lot of potential in China. And even with the booming coffee culture here, a lot of consumers are not aware that coffee are grown in Hawaii, since they're used to either generic Starbucks coffee or other countries' coffee. But to those who know their stuff, I think Hawaii is looked upon as an excellent source for coffee. But the main question is, how do we raise awareness for it? And how do we meet the market demand? And the last thing I want to touch on is papaya. A lot of papaya in China is supplied domestically from Hainan province, as Lindsay mentioned earlier. The rest are from Philippines. And papaya is considered a special fruit with good health benefits, but even most of it is consumed in the southern parts of China, where the weather is more tropical, and papaya makes a great summer fruit. So there is some market potential for it as well. And to differentiate, Hawaii really needs to create its own identity in China, similar to the way Alaska has done it. So Hawaii is almost looked at as a different part, its own country, basically, separate from the United States mainland, actually. It has a really strong image that is different, with the beaches and the volcanoes and all the aloha culture, having a strong impression on consumers already. So with the strong marketing campaign under the Hawaiian banner, I think there's tremendous potential for quick brand recognition in China. And we also really need to promote the advantages of Hawaiian products. So for example, sell us the image of Hawaii, the unique location, the pristine natural environment, how agricultural production is done locally, its connection with the Chinese population, the diaspora, to create a connection with the Chinese consumers. So I think that's our insight on this great question.
Thank you. And I saw Flora mention that we only have 5 minutes left. So I'll ask just last question, which I think is particularly germane to today, as people do more and more shopping online. So Kevin, I'll turn to you first. With online sales booming, how can Hawaiian businesses get access to the e-commerce universe of consumers and make their products stand out? And does it create an opportunity to do an online promotion with a lower budget? And if I can't do it myself, who can help? So wondering if you can give us some tips on online marketing.
I think my company Top Ideal could help you to reach China e-commerce universe because we provide a one-stop service for brand owner to enter in China market. We have partnership with most of the EC platforms such like Tmall and Jingdong, and we have an integrated marketing communication team. We have members have work experience from top 500 companies and some foreign agency like Olive. We are glad to help brand owners to incubate their brands in China. I see I see the question is talking about how to promote products with low budget, but I'm sorry, I have to say, according to our research, per acquisition, a new customer in China is on online is relatively the same or even higher than offline, since the competition is heated in China market on online platforms. So when we're making a new brand launch plan, we usually recommend a brand owner to endure a loss of profit in early stage to use their monies on promoting and set up a long-term valuation to earn profits after firm footing in China. That's the advice I'm giving here. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Ian, any final comments?
Yeah, sure. I think aside from what Kevin mentioned, working directly with an e-commerce platform or an advisor, a lot of importers in China, they are opening their own shops or portals on the e-commerce platforms. So suppliers can actually try and work directly with them and try and sell their products on their store, or the entire state of Hawaii can see if they can work as a group or to promote products from Hawaii under one banner. That could be an attractive option, I think, to some of the e-commerce platforms. But there will be more coordination between the three parties. So I think another way would be to use social media to connect with consumers, and then get into the e-commerce, retail space. And then, as Kevin mentioned, online promotion can be really expensive. So I don't know if a small budget is actually workable when it comes to promoting online, but there are smaller platforms, smaller e-commerce platforms that one could work with that is maybe at a lower cost, but still can lead to decent results if you choose the right one. And yeah, I think that's my my thoughts about this.
Super. Well, thank you all. I know we've had a really good discussion today, and I appreciate your insights from particularly the agricultural side, but also I think a lot of insights that are relevant to Hawaiian businesses, whether they produce food products or other products as they look to China for new opportunities. For the Hawaiian businesses out there, we at the ATO in Guangzhou are certainly happy to help connect you with our network of people. And feel free to reach out to us or our panelists today after the webinar if we can help you with anything else. So we'll look forward to working with you and welcome your questions. I'll turn it back to you, Gordon.
Thank you, Lindsay. And I know that you are heading for another obligation very soon. And before you go, I don't know whether you have time for one question raised by our audience that is about craft spirits. I noticed that David answered, but I don't think it's clarified already. By craft spirits, he means a liquor like Chinese baijiu, rum, whiskey, and whether the audience asks whether there is chance for Hawaii liquors in China.
Yeah, I would say definitely. In fact, we met with some distilled spirits and wine importers last night. We've seen a lot of growth in China with respect to craft and distilled spirits. Certainly higher priced ones even from Japan and other countries. So there is definitely a market for that here. Growing opportunities in many sectors here. So I would say there's certainly opportunity for that. And I'm happy to send more information if the participant would like to reach out.
Okay, I know you have to rush, and so I must let you go. And audience, you have still questions for especially for Lindsay, and please, I will give you, contact information. All right, thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you so much, Gordon.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, Ian and Kevin, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And now let's move on to our next speaker. Because all the guests you heard talking about services or products, and actually today we have the honor to invite one of the most the prominent ukulele teacher in China.
Gordon, and
Yeah.
it's Roger, sorry. And if before you move to the next step, do you think we can, any questions, we can leaving now or leaving or still stay?
You also have to go away right now?
Yeah, no. I love to stay here, but I don't know this topic related to us, or you want to talk into the different topic.
Yeah, we are going to talk about the different topic and answer all the questions at the end of the session.
Okay, you still want us stay to answer the question, right?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Okay, doesn't matter. I don't want to, actually you're talking to a different business, so I don't know it's proper or not improper to stay. So that's my question.
Welcome to stay.
Okay, and sure. Okay.
All right. And let me continue. And I will cut it short because of the time is tight, and you can see all the bio of our speakers. But briefly, Tony, he is a ukulele teacher. He started from scratch, and before even people know what the ukulele is, and he not only made a business, he made a career out of it. And he taught about 7,000 students over the years, and he has been doing this for over 10 years, actually 12 years. But I want you to, before you go away from today's webinar, you remember several tags that he carries. He is the first ukulele trainer in China who started from scratch and made a career. The second thing is that he out of his own pocket, he made a documentary film about ukulele in China, and he will tell you where you can actually search it and find it on YouTube. And third thing is that he was first who conducted the ukulele tournament across China. He had done over 70 already, and he is going to do very soon to Beijing, Shanghai, for the new tournament. And the final tag I want to attach to him is that he is the key person who pushed for a national test standards for ukulele skills. And now, without much more, and let's invite Tony Liu. Let's hear his story. Tony, please.
Okay, aloha everyone. And it's so nice to be here. As you see, I'm not an English speaker, so next I have to read instead of speak next. If you have any question, I will answer them later with Gordon and Flora's help. And okay, I will share my screen. Okay, can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Tony Liu. I'm come from Shanghai. I'm born and brought up in China, and my full-time job now is promoting ukulele in China. And I have I have been doing this single job for 12 years, and it is the only source of income which enables me to live a decent life in Shanghai, which is the largest city in China, you know. Now, I believe you must wonder how I did it. Okay, here is my story. I came to Shanghai looking for my career. After college graduation, I started by setting up a music training center. As you may know, kids in China spend most of their time learning academic knowledge since a very young age. Once they grow up, many of them feel regret why they didn't have a chance to learn some kind of music instrument that could bring joy to life when they were young. To most Chinese, there's a wrong perception that in order to learn music, one must start from a very young age. So quite often, some people in their 20s ask me if it is too late to learn how to play music at his age. For me, this question is quite ridiculous. So I set a goal for myself, promote music education to adults. I want to be that spark lights up the aspiration of the millions of their dreams for music. So my training center only accept adults. Adults have enough understanding and persist in learning music. But the problem is time. People living in city are very busy and they don't have much time to focus on practicing. I realize it is important to find an easy instrument for them to start. As you can guess, I started with a guitar. It's inexpensive and easy to learn and easy to bring around, and is capable of giving rhythms, chords, and melody, even solo. It's a truly a can-do all instrument. But not for too long, I found that about half of my students give up learning because guitar use metal strings and the higher tension strings of the string brings the pain to the finger. Even though guitar is a easy musical instrument to start it still takes time to practice. Around 2011, I came across ukulele, and I was deeply moved by the power that it brought to me by Hawaii artist Jack Crow. Out of my personal interest, I buried myself in learning it, how to play a ukulele. And I uploaded some of my video of playing ukulele onto some video sharing platform. And I was not prepared for the warm feedback and the viewers. However, many of them ask me if I can teach them to play ukulele. I thought it was very unique of playing ukulele in China for me because there are few people talking about it and you can find it nowhere, even in the pro shop in Shanghai. Later, I found that many of these people came to know ukulele in the States or Japan. They were excited to say that someone like me in China is good at it and can teach ukulele. So I made a short tutorial video for them to learn how to play ukulele. 10 years before.
你好，欢迎来到星光吉他教室。最近呢，越来越多的同学喜欢上了
Okay. And guess what? It's it's attracted over 1 million viewers. More and more people came to me to learn ukulele. Even CCTV, it means China Central Television Station, invited me to produce a series of tutorials for ukulele beginners. Until then, I came to realize ukulele is more suitable for me to reach my goal to promote music education to Chinese adults. Ukulele is that spark. Compared with guitar, ukulele is better than guitar for beginners as nylon strings, and it has four strings. It does not make any pain to the fingers like a guitar, and it requires less practice time. Besides, it's more portable. After all, it can play chords, rhythm, melody, even solo, as well as a guitar. Since 2011, I began to shift my career to teaching and promoting ukulele, and it became more and more popular for that time in China because it appeared in a number of hit films, TV shows, and pop music. Okay, I have a lot of videos. As the earliest ukulele training center in China, my business took flight. I started to gain influence across country and even beyond China. Publishers invited me to publish tutorial books of how to play ukulele. Music festivals and pop shows invited me to give performance. In 2013, for the first time, I performed on an international platform that was Thailand Ukulele Festival, where I came to know the size of the impact of the culture in phenomenon throughout Asia. In 2013, I acted ukulele contest in Hawaii and won the second place. Thanks to the development of the online technology, internet tools allowed me to give online lessons since 2016. In this way, I can teach and promote ukulele in different cities of China from my office. By far, I have over 7,000 students learning ukulele from me in China, even around the world. If you come to China today, you will find that almost every music training school offer ukulele training courses. So many of them. Okay. And don't be surprised that in some secondary and premier school, ukulele is a compulsory course. Every and each of the students know that ukulele is a Hawaii music instrument. So many pictures. No. Okay. Last year, I participated in the drafting of national test standards of professional skills of ukulele performance. It is an official endorsement of, tech, of, of technical skill. It means if you passed the test, you should be treated and paid just like a professional Sichuan dishes chief. Do you understand what I mean? A number of Chinese cities host the ukulele festival. Some of them have more than 1,000 people there. And the oldest ukulele festival actually has over 10 years of history. Different city, ukulele festival. More and more Hawaii artists are invited to China. Yeah, Chimabukuro last year. Herbert Jr., Arena. China is becoming the most ukulele popular place in the world. In 2017, I started my ukulele solo concert tour. Up to now, I have done over 70 concerts around the country, even the world. This also gives the opportunity to produce a total of 3-hour-long documentary film, Ukulele in China. It has 4 episodes highlighting certain individuals with their true life story with ukulele. You can find it. You can find the film on YouTube, and it comes with an English sub.
我的同事就说：“哎，这个好玩儿，这个是什么玩具啊？这是什么？”
就对4弦东西有点看不起，
就是把它当玩具了。
这个叫尤克里里，
说不叫小吉他，叫尤克里里。
Because the time, so just a little. Together with of the popularity of ukulele come along another thing, Hawaiian hula, of course. This is my friend Kumi. She is the first hula teacher known to me. She started by teaching Japanese housewives in China early years, but now her students are from across the country, and most of them are Chinese. Mix is another friend of mine. He owned a youth hustle with a Hawaiian style. The hustle offered Kona coffee from Hawaii and some Hawaii souvenir. Every weekend, the hustle hosts a party featuring ukulele and hula show, and they even have a ukulele museum up there. When ukulele and hula is becoming popular, it helps another Hawaiian things to become popular too, such as fashion and gifts item, aloha t-shirt, mumu, and so on. And this time passing, fans start to looking for these items that are made in Hawaii. In my documentary, I interviewed 2 ukulele collectors. They have a great collection of ukulele that worth hundreds of $1,000s. Most of them are top hand-made brands in Hawaii. However, they are not very rich people, instead just ordinary corporate employees. It is also passion for that particular culture that they put most of their money into collecting fancy ukuleles. But it's not very easy to get them in China. Most of the ukulele fans dream to own a Hawaii-made koa ukulele. Each time when we travel to Hawaii, we are asked to bring back for them. And the same things happened with Mumu fabrics for Kumi and Hawaii coffee bean for Mix. Yeah, the youth hustle. I think there is a huge market for Hawaiian brands in China because of the popular waves of Hawaiian culture. We are also trying to bring them to China. Now I'm setting up a great showroom of top quality Hawaii-made ukuleles. The showroom of mine is fitting up at this moment, right now, out there. And it will be done after a few days. Yeah. And I will give my new ukulele solo concert tour tomorrow in Shanghai. I hope I can give my performance ukulele solo concert in Hawaii someday, maybe in the future. Yeah. Okay, that's all. Oh, it's my ukulele solo concert tour. Okay, that's all. If you want to learn more about how ukulele is expanding and discuss where it may go in China, most welcome to contact me. Here's my email, and you can find some of my videos in YouTube. I look forward to any question and suggestion after my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. And I believe that most of the audience, our friends from Hawaii, you must be impressed that there is such a large population in China. I remember that in one of the webinars we had about e-commerce or online business, I asked you whether you know how many people in China are playing this Hawaiian musical instrument, and I told him that at least we have 10 million people, and yeah. And our next speaker, David Qiu, actually he is from the company called a Hong Kong company called Haupttonart Industrial Co. And they are actually the sole distributor of 2 Hawaii brands of ukulele. That's Kamaka and which is
Hanilea.
Yeah, Hanalia.
Hanilea.
Yeah. Well, he's going to tell us, his company is exporting Chinese-made musical instruments, but mainly they are importing and distributing foreign brands. And among the best-known Hawaii brands, they have 2 already. And now let's give him some time to tell us, the story of ukulele and how his company is doing. Now, David, please.
Thank you, Gordon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Aloha. I'm David from Haupttonart Industrial, and I'm honored to be participating in this conference. I hope my sharing will be spread to you. So shall we start? Just a second. Okay, first of all, please allow me to briefly introduce our company. Haupttonart Industrial was established in Hong Kong in 1977, and it's the first world-renowned string instrument sales and repair specialist store in Hong Kong, acting as an agent for importing and distributing global famous branding musical instruments. Since 1980, Haupttonart is the first company in Hong Kong export Chinese violins and spare parts to Japan, Europe, and Taiwan, and the United States. Over the years, it has established import and export trade corporations with more than 100 countries and regions overseas. One of the company's current business segments is the sole distributor of Hawaii's top ukulele brand, Kamaka and Kanilea, for China, including Hong Kong and Macau, and it promotes Hawaiian culture. Okay, the virtuoso Mr. Liu Zhongli's sharing is very impressive. As a partner of each other for many years, Haupttonart distributes the Hawaii brand and hold events dedicated to the development of the ukulele in China. Before the promotion of musical instruments product, we introduced the Hawaii culture and history first as guide and combined with Chinese culture. The combination of instrument and culture is what we are doing now, combining the Hawaiian culture, customs, and aloha spirit in this product display to be spread in China and combined with Chinese culture to create a new resonance. For the past 3 years, our company, Haupttonart, has made frequent trips to Hawaii. We had paid visits to the few world-renowned ukulele makers in Hawaii, such as Kamaka and Kanilea, with the hope of bringing this unique Hawaiian culture musical instrument to the general public of China. We have visited their shops, factories, even the plantation. We talked with the staff, the Lucy, and artists. We watched a lot, talked a lot, get to know each other to establish our partnership. With the effort we made since 2018, our company, Haupttonart, has become the sole distributor for Kamaka ukulele and Kanilea ukulele for the China and Hong Kong and Macau region successfully. It's not usual for them to set sole distributor in one region before. We appreciate their trust on us and frozen our confidence to help them set up and expand in China. Besides the daily operation and the thousands of road shows we made, we bring and held several product exhibitions in Music China Expo, which is the largest and influenced music instrument exhibition in China on 2018 and 2019. We set up a 2-floor large booth to show the gorgeous Hawaii ukulele to Chinese and overseas players and professional buyers. You can see it's the spot pictures, it's gorgeous. Okay, during the Music China Expo, we invite many great artists to play on spot to show the charm of Hawaii ukulele, sharing the merits and the feelings to the audience. It was a huge success. We received a lot of feedback. They love the sound the ukulele made, and they love to play this instrument. Okay, by the time we think ukulele is a historical instrument in Hawaii. What will be if the Hawaii historical instrument was a China historical culture? With this idea, we did a Hawaii ukulele exhibition in a vintage Chinese book and tea house. It's amazing. We can't believe how much they are. It's the true fact that what is national, that is international. Unprecedentedly, and the very first time, invited by the Shanghai Bureau of Culture and the Shanghai Collective Association, we co-organized the most famous Hawaii ukulele culture and instrument exhibition in a 100-long historical Chinese ancient theater. The exhibition includes a mini historical introduction and an ukulele show. Each artist plays a unique ukulele for just one song. At the beginning of each song, the speaker will introduce the unique ukulele, which we'll play later. It is a great opportunity to know the instrument and listen to the sound. As you may know, Hawaii Kamaka ukulele was established in 1916. It is a more than 100-year-old brand with 3 generations succeeds. The story, the spirit, the persist, the craft, and the Lucia workmanship, all of that we would like to share to all the ukulele lovers. So we had a Hawaii Kamaka ukulele sharing seminar in this year's ukulele exhibition. We invite famous ukulele collector and also the long-term friend of Kamaka family, Mr. Benny, to sharing with the ukulele lovers the story of Kamaka for their 100-year-long history. During the seminar, we invite some experienced and famous ukulele artists to play with their Kamaka ukulele, showing the charm and the unique of the Kamaka ukulele. So we did a lot to show the products, aroused attention and interests. Besides the product itself, the side influence might also play an important part. The second part, we are sharing some culture events we did. In 2019, we co-organized to advertise the first China tour concert and the Hawaii brand Shima Ukulele Cement for the world-renowned ukulele musician Jack Shimabukuro in 5 major cities, Shanghai, Chengdu, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and Hangzhou. It is the first concert tour for Jack in China. The entire ukulele lovers in China was heated. The tickets sold out in seconds. Each city Jack went was jammed with fans. Each show are full and successful. The 2020 China tour for Jack Shimabukuro was originally planned to be held in October, but unfortunately it had to be rescheduled due to the pandemic. And this year we are organizing an online ukulele competition in China. We are very honored to have invited the top ukulele masters in the world in China to be our judges. It is the first time a China ukulele competition arose international attention and gathered world-renowned artists for judges. We are also very grateful to have Kamaka ukulele and the Kanilea ukulele sponsor process for the competition. It is the first Jack and Herb to be the co-judge for competition held in China. But it's a pity they could not fly to China to meet the candidates. But they all send their warm courage to all the candidates. Hope they have good results. During the years, we have made the idea that ukulele festivals in China to fulfill. The inaugural Hangzhou Ukulele Festival was held 6 years ago at Westlake, Hangzhou, China. The event was honored to be sponsored by the Hawaii Tourist Authority and the Mrs. Hawaii to showcase the proud Hawaii's culture to China. The year of 2020 is tough for everyone. Stay at home, virtual actions for everything. People in panic, lonely, and upset. We trust that the music has the power to warm us. The voice of love could be heard and the media of music. We did 2 online ukulele concert shows last year, linked 17 cities together in spring and summer. One is the voice of love, the other is because of you. Inviting many Chinese and overseas ukulele masters and groups to join us. We play the ukulele, use music and melodies to pass the love, peace, and strength to each other. Encourage us to support each other to endure these hard times. We believe we will win the fight when we join together. In Hawaii, an important usage for ukulele is play with hula dance. As another symbol of Hawaii culture, hula dance is relatively new for China, so we invite hula dance in many festivals and events. Also organize hula performance in roadshow and other sceneries. Moreover, we believe try by self is more important than watch and listen. Over the years, we have had a variety of ukulele and hula experiments events, which are around 200 events per year to bring Hawaii culture to China. The Aloha spirit includes love and peace. We have sponsored batches of ukuleles to developing areas, passing on love through the power of music. To establish each relationship may not lack of communications. We set up the route for Hawaii artists to China for advertising and developing. The brother of Jack Shimabukuro, the Bruce Shimabukuro, went to China at the same time to start his ukulele workshop tour in China. And the Haupttonart is proud to be the China agent for renowned ukulele musician, Mr. Herb Ota Jr. We held several ukulele workshops for Herb Ota Jr. in key cities of China. Looking forward, we hope to bring China's talented youth ukulele players to participate in the annual Hawaii Ukulele Festival, to have further cultural exchange activities, deepen the understanding of the unique Hawaii culture for the youth of China. Also, we discussed with Kamaka Ukulele, Jack Shimabukuro, Herb Ota Jr. to establish a ukulele grading exam in China for even globally is currently ongoing. Similar grade exam is also being considered for hula dance. So after that share of examples, you may want to know the development of ukulele in China currently. I have 3 charts to share with you. According to Statista, a leading US NS firm, the Chinese market for string instruments is growing rapidly. Among them, the rapid development of small instruments such as ukulele is the main factor to drive the growth in recent years. And during the period of 2000 to 2020, there are 2 major trends. First is the household expenditure ratio in China. National Bureau of Statistics analyzed China's total household spending is expected to reach 295 billion RMB in 2020, nearly 7 times more than in 2000. And the leisure products category rising from 4% to 12%, totally around 35.4 billion. Okay, from the Baidu Index, it's the major Chinese searching engine. We can see that the search volume of hotness of ukulele is blowing up compared to traditional music instruments, such as major piano and guitar. And the search classification is in all aspects is much higher than that of piano and guitar. So from various index and indicators, Hawaii culture and Hawaii products are gradually being known and understood by the people of China. We hope to introduce the fertile culture and products of Hawaii to China through the ukulele as a guide and lead, so that more people can know and understand. We have received reviews from Hawaii Coffee, which our Hawaii clients sent to us. The Hawaii food culture could have great potential in China market. Currently, there's no direct flight from Hawaii to China cities. Hopefully the flight route could open in future. We believe this could increase opportunities for exchange between the 2 cities. Okay, that is my sharing today, and hope it will be inspired to all of you. Thank you again for inviting me to join this meeting. Okay, that's all for mine.
Thanks a lot, David. And well, I think this is the first time we bring some, people who is in the trade of services in our, discussions and presentations. And well, I don't know whether you think, ukulele is a success in China. I think it is. If you think, macadamia is a success, yes, of course, no doubt. And then, can you think that Kona coffee cannot be successful, or you think that Hawaii craft spirit cannot be successful? I think they can. Well, of course, this leaves to you to make a decision. But from all the presentations from our guests who have been doing on the ground job, they tell us that yes, you can. And now, well, what you need to do is to try. And there are tools and there are platforms and there are people, and you can do yourself, or you can do through like David, through agents, through distributors. And well, time is up, and I have to let most people go. And if you do have a question, please raise now, or Tim, can you show the contact information of our speakers? And if you can also, if you come up with further questions after you go back, and you can still reach us, reach, DBAT Hawaii, DBAT Beijing, or you can find contact information from speaker's bio. I don't see any question from the Q&A box. Yeah, I don't see any questions coming in. So I have to, say, let's call it a day, and thank all the audience for your time, and also thank our speakers, especially Roger and David, Tony, who have been waiting for us for questions. But anyways, because of the time constraint, and if the audience have questions they directed to us, we will pass it on to you. And before the audience go, and I just a kind and warm reminder that our next, please go and register for our next webinar, and especially the one after next, which is on February the 9th, which is solely for Alibaba platform. We invited somebody from Alibaba USA, these two high-level people, and who you usually don't see them if you use their platform. Please do come back and join our webinars. Thank you, and have a good day. And thanks out to all our speakers. Thank you for your time and your contribution to bring more Hawaii business to China. Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.